Welcome to the Loud Lounge with yours truly, Selector Fray. And this has been an interview that's been on my bucket list, but for some reason, he's been dodging me. He's been running. It's kind of like Arsenal. He felt very uncomfortable in the presence of Liverpool, man. So we'll leave it at that. But Bermuda, on the Loud Lounge today, I have the man himself, Jesse Seymour.
What's going on,
Welcome
everybody?
to the Loud Lounge.
Thank you for having me. This is my first time here. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's been
I
dark
like
in
the
Bermuda.
setup, man. It's nice, really nice.
So what we want to do is people have heard you sing at all over the island. You've opened up for a couple of shows.
Yeah.
I want Bermuda to get to know the background of the, now we can say, fine and refinished product of Jesse. Want to know a little bit about you. We can see as an Arsenal fan, as an ex-footballer, represented for Bermuda's national team, so sports was one of his things.
Yeah.
And now he's a singer that sings all over the island. But we want to know, who is Jesse Seymour, this guy that we see singing, and he's dropped quite a few singles. A lot of people will only know you for this song that you done with Scandalous.
Yeah.
But I also know you for this song you done with your mom that was touching to me.
Yeah.
It was a tribute because I'm in the same boat as you. So when you sang that song, I can honestly say that touched me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We have to give thanks to our moms because that's who made us.
For real.
So let's start off with Jesse from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Yes.
All right, so I came up from young, you know what I mean? And my dad was actually a singer before I was even born, you know? And even when I used to hear my dad like singing coming up, my mom and my dad always used to be singing around the house, but my dad was the one who had the really good voice in it. And I guess at the age of 3, my dad got into the church, and then I never saw my dad sing outside of the church, you know, but people used to tell me that when my dad used to sing back in the day, guys used to come throw capes over him and drag him off stage and all that. They used to say, your dad was really, really good, you know? And I realized he was really, really good when people started showing up to church that don't normally come to church to hear my dad sing. You know what I mean? People would go to funerals, don't even know who's passed, but just go to hear my dad sing. And that, for me, in itself was like, it was kind of mind-blowing. You know what I mean? And the more stories I heard, like, the more I wanted to be like.
You know? Like you.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It was a thing like, I wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps, and it was actually before Bermuda Idol when I realized that I could sing. I used to go to Mount St. Agnes. Shout out to all the Mount St. Agnes crew out there, the Saints. Yeah, so I went to Mount St. Agnes and nobody had even knew I could sing. They just knew I could play football and stuff like that, you know. And they had an audition for a school play, and it was The Lion King. Right?
You were Simba?
I was about. I ended up trying out for the part to be Simba, right? And and the actual part that I won, right? And everybody turned around and it was shocked. Was like, you know the part where he's with Timon and Pumbaa?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Are we with? Yeah.
And then he just pops up and says, it means no worries for the rest of your day.
So that was you.
Oh, man. When they heard me sing that, they turned around and said, that was Jesse. He said, yo, you got the part. And then, man, I sang that song, and the amount of love and feedback and beautiful feedback and positive feedback I got from that, like, that just edged me on to push to want it a little more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I kept singing like here and there, but I was never really on a big stage or anything like that. I kind of like kept it kind of low. You know what I mean? Because, you know, back in the day, singing wasn't really the cool thing.
You was a footballer.
Yeah,
so that was
footballer.
That put you in a cool crowd.
That already put me with the cool crowd. You know what I mean? But I was like, I don't know if I should sing. I mean, girls love it, but I don't know. Like, you know? So I was working construction one day.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll never forget it. I started working with live wires, original live wires.
Yes.
Right? And we were both working construction and we're carrying these buckets of concrete,
Yeah.
right? All across this golf course, right? And he says something came up where he was doing Soca versus Reggae
Yes.
in 2017, right? And he said, listen, I had told him, look, Wires, I could sing, man.
Yeah.
Right? He turns around and says, what? You're a footballer, man. I sing, like, right? I said, listen to me, trust me. I could sing. I said, sing something. I'll sing it. He sang something. I sang it, right? He said, okay, I'll sing this. He sang something. I sang it again, my way. He put the buckets down. He turned around. He said, you can't sing. You can sing, boy. He said, listen, man, I'm going to give you an opportunity of a lifetime. He says, I'm going on stage, Soca versus Reggae, and I'll give you 2 minutes of my time. 2 minutes out of the 10-minute slot that I have. And that was the one opportunity. That was the gateway. Right
No, what was that like when you got that moment at the gateway? Because I knew you was nervous.
Listen, when I pulled up to the place, I had already had the confidence in me from playing football in front of hundreds of people and, like scoring. So I already had that kind of confidence. But singing in front of people, I was like, oh, this is a whole different type of ball game, right? Yeah. So now I show up down Dockyard. I had never been to Soca versus Reggae before. So it was my first time and my first time going to the event and my first time singing. Bro, when I got there, that was the most people I had ever seen in one place before in Bermuda. When me and my nerves were going through the roof, like crazy. I put my hand on, not forget, I put my hand on like this. It was like this, look. Shaking. I said, damn. I said, this is what it is. He said, this is your moment. This is where you either make bust or you flop.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
You either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I went out on stage and Live Wires said, look, before I perform, bring my boy out, sing it. I came out and I said to him, I was so nervous. I didn't want to come out and say anything. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to do. I just want to sing.
Yeah.
Right? So I said, look, I told the DJ, play the music now. I was on stage. I told him, play the music before I come on stage. So remember the Sanchez where they play the horn and they.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I came out, I said, there are lots of sorrows in life. Man, they ran crazy. I had to pull up the song, right?
Yeah.
When I pulled up the song, I had to turn around because I felt like I was about to throw up. That's the type of like stage, like
the energy you got.
The energy that I felt, bro. That was something I had never felt before. And I honestly, it was like a drug for me. And I've been chasing that feeling ever since.
So you're hooked.
Hooked. I can get on stage. It could be 4 people or 4,000 people. Anybody looking, like I have people who look at me and they're like, oh my God. And that feeling that I get
that
of
energy.
Surprise and like, when I open up my mouth and I sing and, it's a blessing that I have this gift, man. And I try to use my gift.
Oh, we want to talk about that, right? So this was your first time. You can honestly say your first time at Soca versus Reggae. You was your amateur start.
Yeah, that was my amateur start.
When did you realize, because I know you've implemented things like a vocal coach and stuff like that to help you better understand and prepare yourself for your dates? Because now you're singing pretty much every day of the week. So what was it like from going to there to the now reformed, refreshed performance side of Jesse?
So what happened was, I was working at Gosling, right? And I wasn't really singing anywhere. I had gotten that one opportunity. You know what I mean? And I was grateful to Live Wires for it. But I kind of, after that Soca versus Reggae, I kind of went dormant. You know what I mean? That was like 2016. So then 2017, they had America's Cup,
Yes.
right? And they actually shout out to my son's mother, Sancha Durham,
Yeah.
because she was actually on the committee for America's Cup, and she thought it'd be great to put together an America's Cup band based of
Local.
locals, right? And this band will perform all these songs of each country that is the theme song and all those types of things, right? So I had never experienced anything like that. So I tried out for this band, right? And I ended up like, it was other people who sang, you know, I ended up coming out on top, and I ended up being the lead singer of the band, right? Now this band was 10-piece band. We had background singers, horns, like bass, guitars, drums, the whole nine yards. And I had to learn songs that I had never heard before, other people's genres.
Yes.
You understand? Like I'm a reggae artist.
Yeah.
You feel me? But like reggae is my thing. But during this America's Cup, I had to open up to jazz, pop, blues, all those types of stuff.
You're more versatile.
Made me more versatile. And I had to learn these songs from all these different countries, and all these songs that I was learning were from all different walks of life and walks of genres.
Yeah.
You know? So I ended up learning these things, and I was singing on stage like 3-4 times a week, right? And I fell in love with it so much that I was supposed to go back Goslings after I finished America's Cup. And I said to myself, yo, I'm a singer.
I'm an entertainer.
I'm an entertainer.
I'm a fisher.
I'm not supposed to be working at Goslings. Like, you know?
You try to reach that switch.
Yeah. I'm like, hold on. I'm on stage singing in front of 4,000 people. And I see my boys on the truck from Goslings. No disrespect to them.
Yeah.
But they're driving across in the truck. And they're over there like trying to wave to me. And I'm not going back to that. I can't.
You got a taste.
I'm already got a
taste.
taste of the best of the best, man.
Yeah.
Like to where it was people on yachts and all types of things like that. And they asked me would I come on the yacht and sing. You know,
It opened up
private parties. It opened doors for me to meet people and socialize with people like who are way above my pay grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Put you in a different circle.
Put me in a whole different circle. Like
Tax bracket.
Like this whole singing thing has opened up doors for me and allowed me to meet people that I would have never met if I didn't sing.
Broaden your horizons.
Yeah, man, for real.
Now, speaking on that, you done America's Cup,
Yeah.
and then you start emerging as being like Bermuda's household name singer. What Live Wires was and still is now, well, I don't got Live Wires, you better hit Jesse. But Jesse had more of how we say it politically correctly, sex appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pretty boy
I
image.
love Jesse. You know?
The fitted shirts, the model,
I'm
we
gonna-
call it the GQ
I'm
model.
gonna walk right off that stage and come look you in your eye and let you know that I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
You know?
So what was that like? You told us it was you got the taste and the bit never left you. You didn't want to.
So
you loved
I ended up, America's Cup had finished, right? And I said to myself, listen, I'm not like, I'm trying to elevate
this, yeah.
to the next level. Like we're not going backwards.
Yeah, I'm
Not in this life.
not getting
We're going
cans of
back.
elephants
No,
and Heinekens.
no.
That's done.
We're moving forward. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna just stick to the wicket and try to find myself something. And the Father somehow opened up a door for me to rest. The Big Chill needed a lead singer.
Yes.
Right? So they had Cassie Keynes, who's a very good friend of mine. She actually sings with the band that I have now.
Okay, and what's the name of that band you have
Silver
now?
City.
Silver City?
It's called Silver City, the Silver City Band.
So now that you're part of the Silver City band, you're doing your thing. Those that don't know, where they can catch you during the week. Because it took us time to get this interview because you're a very busy man. So look in the camera, tell people how they can find you. Also, how can they book you?
Yeah. So for the past 2 years,
Yes.
I've been at the Lido on the Friday night. Right? However, now I'm booked for so many weddings on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the summer that I'm not able to take on anything weekly.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing. You know what I mean? In looking at it in terms of, because weddings are more lucrative for me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But at the same time, also having something weekly is a way for people to find me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, right now, like even last week, my brother and myself, we do a duet set.
Yes.
No. And we was at Harbor Nights last week, Wednesday going.
You open up.
Yeah, I'll be the opener. They asked us to open for them. And a lady goes on the Marges list on Facebook
Yeah.
and says, "Can somebody please get in contact with Jesse Seymour?" The Marges list. So now I got about 200 people sending me this picture and sending me these messages of this lady who is looking for me. Right? So I reach out to the lady. I'm like, "Ma'am, you could have just found me on Instagram and sent me a direct message. You don't have to let everybody know you're looking for me. But however, how may I help you?" She says, "Listen, I want you to open up a hub." And I said, "Oh, now I open up a hub night, but that's an opportunity that I've always wanted, to be able to sing in front of tourists and Bermudians alike." You know what I mean? And everybody loves hub.
Yes, that's a staple.
Everybody loves.
That's a staple from May
You know what I
straight
mean?
to October.
And then you get to get them right after the gumbies. You kick in right after the gumbies, so everybody's already in.
Yeah, you got the crowd there.
Square. You know what I mean? I love it.
Now, you talked about America's Cup. What was it like outside of the America's Cup as well as Soca versus Reggae? What was a performance where you actually said, this is a serious staple for me and I love it? Like, was a particular show that you got booked and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was Bermuda Idol. Bermuda Idol, I would have to say, was like my biggest, like, apart from the first time that I sang, I got that feel that I got the first time I sang.
And then they said, Jesse Seymour, you are the winner.
Yeah,
what was that later?
Oh man, like, I'll never forget it. My mom was there. You know what I mean? She ran up on stage and my son had just been born. You know what I mean? So I was able to get a whole check and a good feeling.
Yeah.
And my mom got to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And man, that was a really great experience for me, because like, even you have, like, believe it or not, with Bermuda Idol, you have to strategize, not just be a good singer.
Your stage presence.
Yeah, it's your stage presence. It's also the song you pick.
Yes, because it has,
you know what I mean?
It has to hit the numbers.
Yeah. It has to hit. You can't sing a song that nobody knows.
Yes.
You can't. You can't win nobody over. You have to sing a song that people know. And even with that, it's still hard to compete. I said, but you know what? What will edge me over? And shout out again to my son's mom.
Yes.
Her dad.
Yes.
Her dad, David Dormy, came to me and said, "Listen, I'll tell you how you perform, right?" He said, "You got a 2-minute slot for a song. Everybody's gonna sing one song." He said, "Is you do a mashup of 3 songs."
That's a melody.
Melody.
Yeah.
He says, "You kill it. You kill it." I did a Al Green. Then I did a Lenny Williams.
Yeah.
Girl, you know how.
Yeah.
And then I finished them off with Usher, Good Kisser.
Oh, so you gave him 3 different generations.
Gave him 3 different generations of music in one.
Yeah.
After I finished singing, right, everybody was standing up, clapping, screaming. And the craziest thing was, was the 5-person finals. So 5 people get to go to the finals.
Yeah.
Right? And you pick out of a hat who goes first, second, third, fourth, or fifth.
Yeah.
I ended up getting first.
So you applied the practice.
Right? So I set the bar so high, right? I was just saying, look, just give it to him. Just give it to him. You just did his thing. Like, just give it to him. But you know what I mean? That experience right there was an experience that I would never forget. Like, Bermuda Idol. I won Bermuda Idol, and I won Best in Showmanship. And that was the first time a male had ever won.
Now, speaking on that, you showed us you have your showmanship, you're a singer, you're an entertainer. What's it like being an artist? Those that may not know, you put out tracks, you put out singles on the radio and stuff. What's it like getting your music played in Bermuda? That's a perspective I always want to ask you. What was it like? Like, what's the struggles and what's the...
I mean, so, in all honesty, it's really about building relationships and putting out good music. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like, I have a great relationship with DJ Chubb.
Yes.
We sometimes end up at the same events, working at the same events. I have a great relationship with Miss Thang. She used to always come down to my mom's restaurant and talk to my mom and have conversations. I have a great relationship with what's the lady?
One of the radio personalities.
One of the radio personnel. I'm so sorry that it's slipping my mind right now. But she did my sound one time. She does sound and all that type of stuff. She's a sound engineer. So shout out to her. She's amazing too.
So we've seen you do like the project for your mom. You done your mom's Scandalous, and the last one I really heard was your Afrobeat song.
Yeah. So I actually recorded I went to Jamaica in January.
Yes.
Right, for the whole month in January.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw some little Instagrams. Yeah. Somebody in Mondays and
Uptown Mondays. Yeah, you know, and I got to see Vibes Cartel for free.
Yeah.
Auntie Killer for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go down in the ghetto in Kingston and you just see them for free.
Yeah.
I went down to Jamaica in January and I just caught a vibe. You know what I mean? I wanted to catch a vibe. I had already been there before and recorded at Tuff Gong studio.
Yes.
The home of the Marlins.
Yeah.
You know, and I went there a second time, but this time that I went, it was actually a producer named Rurley.
Yes.
You know, and he is actually the producer for the Slang Tang rhythm, I believe.
Yeah.
And I believe the Joyride rhythm as well. You know, so, and I went in the studio and I was actually, I had already pre-recorded the song.
Yeah.
Right, and I had already had the beats lined up, so I just had to go there and record.
Yeah.
And when Really heard me record, he was like, "Yo, where you from?"
Hey.
I said, "Yo, from Bermuda." Right? He said, "Yo, your butt." You know what I mean? He says, like, yeah, like if you came out here and like spent some time out here, like, you know what I mean, and really like dug in, like, you could definitely be something. You know what I mean? So like in future, my next, like I said, I always want to go forward. I've started my own business. You know what I mean? I've had a few setbacks, losing my parents and whatnot. But, you know, I've also, like, I've gained some accolades, you know what I mean? Whereas I have my own business now, trucking.
Yes. What's it called?
It's called Restore Pro.
Restore Pro, yes. Because the CD truck,
yeah,
specialize and restore it is
specialize in doing roofs, you know, general maintenance, painting, commercial painting, residential painting, you know, things like that.
Now, we did this earlier. How can people contact you for your business? Because we're going to promote you today.
Yeah. So you could contact me on my Instagram or on Facebook. If you see me anywhere, or if you see the truck has the number on the side, and I could also give you my business cards. I have business cards. If anytime you need a stuff done, like, you can come down to the restaurant down the shop, and then I could give you one of my cards.
Now, your brother is also very talented as well. He's a phenomenal musician.
Yeah.
So by you doing the duet, can we actually see that time where it's a Seymour compilation album where you're working together?
So me and my brother actually dropped our first song together. Last year, I think it was November, and it's called Every Morning. It's a picture of me and my brother on the front cover, and got my arm around him, and that picture is sentimental to me. And that was the last time that me and my brother spent. The last time that we spent time with our mother on the water.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we went out on this catamaran, man, and like that was the last time we went out on the water with my mom. My mom had an amazing time. You know what I mean? And the song like simply says, "Wake up every morning, stand firm and stand up. Thank God for my journey. I've been through so much. Sometimes feeling empty. Jah, please fill my cup. Cause joy comes in the morning. My head I will lift up." You know what I mean? And those words right there, like, I actually had heard this beat, right? And I said to my brother, listen, I want you to help me to write this song. At least help me do the chorus. You know what I mean? He was never supposed to be on this song.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like he was helping me do the song.
Yeah.
And then we both came up with the chorus. And then he came up with you gotta come up with something melodic. Like if you heard his song Every Morning, it's an amazing song, man. And like my brother just helped me out with the chorus, and then afterwards, when I kept singing the chorus, he's like, "Yo, bro, can I get on this song with you?" I said, "You know what?"
Now, speaking on your brother, to sidetrack, he also did Bermuda Idol, right?
Yeah.
He was a winner as well, right?
No, he's never won Bermuda Idol, but he's been a runner-up.
So I believe, I remember that. I worked on that idol.
Yeah, he's been a runner-up. But he's a great singer. He's got like a baritone voice, like this Barry White type thing going on,
When we see him, don't laugh. I call him old school.
Old school. Yeah, that's old school right there.
That's old school right there.
For people that don't know, my brother is 5 years younger than me.
His old school.
He might
Everything's old school.
Hear that, man. He loves it. He embraces it too. He loves it.
So, we talked a lot about you. We talked about your musical background, how you went Tuff Gong, recorded, you got a taste of Jamaica, some of the attributes you've done along your journey. Mm-hmm. Who are some of the artists that Jesse Seymour can say he listens to for inspiration and also says, I would like a touch of his flair or with my added twist?
Mm-hmm. So I think of, when it comes to people who I think influence me, I would definitely have to say that, like, Chris Breezy.
Okay.
Definitely one of my...
So since you said Chris Breezy,
influences.
we know you're the latest man. You dress. When we're gonna get Jesse up there.
I don't know if you're gonna get the audacity.
You said Chris Breezy, like.
Yeah, but let me tell you this crazy story. I've actually opened up for Chris Brown, right? So Chris Brown came to Bermuda when he was like
15 and a half.
15 and a half,
Yeah,
or something like that, right?
Yes.
And
Came here for Glenn.
Glenn Blakeney for Hot 107.5.
Yes.
Right? And Glenn Blakeney had asked me to sing at this event.
Yeah.
Right? I'm saying, I was about 13. I'm about 2 years younger than Breezy.
Yeah.
Right? So I said, it was at Botanical Gardens on Alpharetta, and I was up there. I was playing piano and singing at the same time. Right? And when I got on stage, all of a sudden, the girls started screaming. I'm thinking they're screaming for me.
You got a rude
The
awakening.
time Chris Brown's walking around the back of the tent with a shirt over his head. All the girls were screaming at him walking across. I'm on stage thinking they're screaming for me. Breezy!
You owe me. You owe me. You owe me. Okay. Chris Breeze is one. Who's another?
Chris Breeze is one. I would definitely have to say Christopher Martin. Christopher Martin is definitely.
So you like the true singers?
Yeah. I like Romain Virgil.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Guys who could really sing.
perform.
And
Wow.
perform as well. Yeah. I went to a show when I was in Jamaica. I saw Buju, Barris, and Remy and Virgo. And that was like the second time I had seen Remy and Virgo. It was like 30,000 people there, bro. And yo, boy, hey. I mean,
So I think, and we'll put it out there in the universe, as we would say. Promoters, then you bring Romain Virgo, because he will be coming back.
yes, he probably will.
We have Jesse Seymour here, and I think we can arrange a one-on-one sit-down with you and Romain.
Yeah, I can't sleep. Why not?
Yeah,
Everybody.
make it happen. But I think he's a Liverpool fan, so you might have to switch up your jersey.
I won't wear a jersey.
He built outside with wear a jersey. Speaking of that, is there any producers on your bucket list? Because you say you've met people,
Yeah.
been in different environments. Who are some of the producers, if you had the opportunity on your bucket list, you would like to work with?
If I had to choose a producer to work with that I've seen and like see his beats are hard and actually follow him and stuff, and they're actually a little older, you know what I mean? But Scott Stewart,
Yeah.
what? Man,
Next thing I knew, Jesse Seymour was going to be on Really Best Track. You can see Cali cover your
man, listen. I'm telling you, like I watch YouTube videos and I love his story, man. How he went like all the way up her and then he ended up hitting rock bottom
And then bounced
now
back.
he's bounced back because a lot of us go through times like that. You know what I mean? Even like my dad. You know what I mean? My dad was at a point where he hit rock bottom. You know what I mean? And then,
But it's a saying that my mom used to always say to me, tough times never last, but tough people do.
yes, that's
And a
true.
man's character can be judged, not when it's at top, but when his
It's
bottom
at the
and
bottom.
he get bounced back.
Yeah, that's right.
I understand that.
See it, but
So
it's a word.
we're here now, Jesse. We've done this interview. We gotta let people know that we've got a surprise. You are actually gonna be featured at Catch a Fire.
Catch a Fire is gonna be crazy.
So what was it like getting that call from Mr. Hart and, knowing you was probably in your truck, making a run or doing something. He says,
Yeah.
hey, let me talk to you for a second. Look, man, I want you to open off a busy signal. What was that like when you got that call and what was the reaction?
So when I got the call, most times when promoters come, I just try to play it cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then I call my friends and be like, I'm gonna catch a fire.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's always good to know that promoters, that people see you working at your craft, man. They see you still on it. They see you still at it and still like knocking them down. So people are only gonna pick people who they
Like,
think are going to
gonna
sell
do the
to the
job.
crowd, man. They're gonna do the job. They're gonna bring the fire. You know what I mean? Like, mind you, I've heard like it's a new artist. I believe it's Star Charles' nephew.
Yes,
It's
Dylan.
gonna be Dillinger. Like I've never heard anything from Dillinger, but you know what I mean? To be on a platform like this, there's obviously gotta be somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to hearing him. Like I've did music with General Caution before, you know what I mean? I know he's gonna bring his thing, do his thing. But yeah, I'm definitely coming with the business.
Now, before we get out of here, I want to ask you this, or ask you to say this. What are words of encouragement for young Bermudian artists that are out there, that are singing, trying to get heard? What are some of the things you could say to them to help them along their journey or make them have a better understanding?
I tell you this, don't listen to what anybody has to say about your craft. If they don't think you're good at your craft, that's on them. You work at your craft, be the best that you can be, and don't worry about the naysayers. Because if I listened to the naysayers and the people who told me that I couldn't sing, I wouldn't be here right now. You understand? So at the end of the day, perfect your craft, find what you love to do, and become the best at it. That's what I like to say. Yeah, fulfill your dreams and always chase your dreams and never sleep on it. Any opportunity you have to take your craft to the next step, do whatever it takes to get there.
I mean, you can honestly say you are now living your dream.
Yeah.
You have finally made it to the Loud Lounge because you've been docking me.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, you ran 24th of May, but I bring some of these calls, you turn into a sprinter, but we'll leave it at that. But it's yours truly, Selector Fray, Jesse Seymour.
Yeah.
We are here live on the Loud Lounge.
Loud Lounge.
We out of here.
See you guys there. Bless.